G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Relic River, one of the most beautiful maps available to any of the players who dare try their luck on the ranked ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's a ranked ladder game today. We've got two Conqueror 3 players facing off, mono y mono, and of course, an exciting one, that is for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the east of the map, in the color pink, playing as the Japanese, it's Fei-chan. And on the west side of the map, in the color purple, playing as the French, it's Ivan Oha. I hope I pronounced that correctly. There's a part of me that thinks maybe not. Sounds a little bit Hawaiian. I don't know if you guys get the Hawaiian vibe from that. I kind of get the Hawaiian vibe from it. Anyway, we're not going to be seeing any Dark Age shenanigans here from Ivan. I'm just going to be calling him Ivan. Ivan Oha. Ivan Oha. Ivan. Because, well, we've just gone and dropped a mill down over on the deer. Survival techniques coming through as well, so extra super duper fast villager gather rate coming in here. Wait, I was wondering for a second, I'm like, those villagers are moving really quickly. I thought I sped up the game speed, but they're just excited to collect some venison. I tell you what, I would be too. It's delicious. It's beautiful. I think the only time that I can remember that I had venison was over in Germany for Red Bull Walla Lol. There was a special dinner that was happening, and it was on the menu. I was like, well, you know what they say. Well, when in Heidelberg. Anyway, that's it. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup, about what we can expect to see today. So, an interesting opening coming through from Fei. We do see the 2 on stone opening. Typically in this matchup, the large focus for Fei is going to be getting up to Castle Age quickly, looking to try and get Mounted Samurai out on the field, because the Mounted Samurai typically are going to do quite well against the French Knights. The French Knights obviously have the heal, whereas the Mounted Samurai just have that big block of damage that they can do. So as long as they can get a nice little skirmish off with their charges all hitting at the same time, and then you can just kind of fall back off that, you can typically get some pretty good trades with it. So we'll expect to see Fei do that here. I don't suspect... I mean, we could see her go for something like Temple of Equality. It's been a bit of a meme, but, you know, we saw it once in a tournament, and then we never saw it again. By the way, what is this villager doing? Are we going for a little bit of a dock down here? I think we might be. A little bit of a late dock, I will say that. Not your typical dock timing, that is for sure. But I guess knowing where the deer was in this situation, did Fei know where the deer was? She does. She does know where the deer is. That's fine. But, yeah, on this map, it appears that deer is discovered early on, so it's definitely a bit of a decision, you know? Am I going to go for the deer, or am I going to take the straggler trees and make myself a dock? Why not do both, says Ivan. And I got to agree, Ivan. I think that makes some smart sense. Age up about to come through from Fei. It's going to be the Coca Township. Interesting decision here from Fei, relying on the Coca Township. I'm curious what the motivation here is. The Ville's actually going to be forced back, and look at this. Ivan immediately spotting this out and saying, yeah, I don't want a piece of it. I don't want a piece of it. If you're going to go Coca Township, I'm not interested. What's the point? What's the point? I'm going to be behind you on the age up. You're going to have shinobis in my face, in my base. I'm just not going to bother. And I think that's probably a smart move. Age up about to come through for him. Unlikely to see anything other than the School of Cavalry here. Let's check in underneath the town center. It is indeed the School of Cavalry. 5 vills. That's an excited individual right there to be aging up. That is for sure. Now, of course, I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can check Fei out over on Twitch. She's streaming live over there all the time too. We had a little bit of a movement right there. Hold on a minute. School of Cavalry in the back of the base. Yeah, smarter move right there, Ivan. Especially respecting right now the fact that Fei is going for that Coca Township. And if you put that towards the front of your base, it's going to mean that she's just got very easy access in, can get that sabotage off, doesn't really have to risk too much. Whereas now she's going to actually have to come in, Shin-Shun out, and then that way she will cop a little bit of damage from the town center. So definitely the right move to be canceling that landmark early on in this game. Age up comes through on the side of Fei though. And we see the UI elements come on through. Beautifully done by the developers for Age of Empires 4. So shout out to you guys for making that happen, because I don't think the Shinobis actually come up unless you've actually got the Coca Township. With regard to the Bannermans, I suspect they are always there. I'd have to double check though, but I'm pretty sure I saw like the UI over there move. Like it gave a good country move. We should have our Daimyo coming through shortly. 328 stone in the bank. Wait, is that a second TC? There could be a second TC. I got so excited I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. Second TC. They're letters technically, but I mean, if you say a letter out loud, is that technically a word? I guess technically. Does that mean a number could be a letter? Or a word? Yeah, well, of course it could be. 100. Well, that's 3 words. Anyway, let's worry about that another time. Age up about to come through here for Ivan. We're right on board with him as he looks to try and get some presence out on the map at the moment. Only the single scout for him. It's 5 minutes into the game, and we're about to see, yeah, you can see the shinobi is on standby here, and naturally Ivan's moved all those vills away, saying, okay, we've got to be cautious here, we've got to be careful. And the good thing about, well, we're going for a double mill out here, wheelbarrow on the way through, but the good thing about getting on the deers nice and early is it makes it a lot more difficult for your opponent to punish you out here with early aggression. So we're right on board here with Faye as she looks to cause a little bit of havoc in the wood line. Of course, this has all been spotted out. Shinobi now going to be revealed. We'll take a look and see what she's got in store. It doesn't look like a whole bunch. Oh, dives in. Doesn't get it off. And that all comes down to that positioning earlier. So well done to Ivan. That could have been unfortunate for him. That would have meant a delay in that subsequent night, a subsequent delay in everything else, and there's the second TC. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, this is obviously getting spotted out by Ivan, so now there's a bit of a question. How does he go about playing this? Does he look to double down? Does he go, all right, we're gonna go very heavy in the feudal age. We're gonna try and punish this. Now, keep in mind, this is in the back of the base. And one of the key things to note is that when you're typically attacking somebody, you want to try and attack them towards the front of the base. And the longer you're attacking them towards the front, obviously it means your reinforcements are going to come through, but it's going to mean more time they've got to build up that economy. So this is quite troubling. Because if that town center was in the front of the base, then it would be very easy. If the TC was up here, then you just focus the TC and you'd kill the TC and you'd be a happy little camper. But in this situation, it's a little bit more difficult to justify going into a big amount of units in the feudal age. So we could potentially, that was an interesting charge right there. So we could see something like the French just going into a second TC, and I would support that. I would say that's a really good idea from the French perspective. I'd almost be tempted to say, go ahead, grab a couple more knights, you know, move up to 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that region, get the second TC down. You could, I don't want to talk about third TCs at this stage in the game. Knight goes down. Unfortunate loss right there for Ivan. He is Conqueror 3, I will say that right now, but just keep in mind, even the best make mistakes. Knight is taking a lot of damage, a huge amount of damage here, just for nothing, right? Like, what are we even doing here? This is not good. Shinobi now going to come through with that Knight and the charge under the town center. Big charge. All the vills inside the TC. He's happy to try and take this fight. And now, despite that, you can see just the amount of damage that's getting done. This is really, really good for Faye, right? She's getting so much value here. The fact that you're able to delay and deny from your opponent, and what do we see back here? We see double archery range. So this to me is a big red flag, because realistically, right, if we think about it from the perspective of Ivan, what's the play here? Because there is definitely a world where you could say, okay, we're going to come and attack this back town center, we're going to work our way around there. But if you do, you've got to remember that you're going to be subjected to intercepts from your inevitable reinforcements that come through. So let's say that your reinforcement route is along this south side, and you're looking to come down here, you know, you'll burn this down and you'll try and reinforce to this position. There's a good chance that you could see the Japanese with a stable or a racks, and as your units are coming through, they're just going to pick them off. And it means that while you're sort of in this limbo area, that you've got to make a decision. Do I defend my rams or do I defend my reinforcements? And subsequently, it makes it very hard for you to justify reinforcing, because then you'd have to give up supporting your rams, because obviously if your rams go down, then you know you lose the whole point of it. Now, of course, there's other ways that you can play. You don't have to go for the kill in that regard. You can just look to try and contain the opponent. That's definitely a valuable thing to be moving towards. Oh gosh, oh boy, you came to the wrong neighborhood, my friend. This boar, I wouldn't be surprised if it picks up a kill here. You can see that Ivan's trying to take the boar down. All 4 HP. The Royal Knight does manage to get away in the end. We're going to need chivalry in ASAP. We needed chivalry in yesterday, the way that this is going. So second town center now for Faye has come up. It looks like it's going to be a castle age timing as well. So realistically, Ivan has a couple of minutes here to really put the pressure on. But keep in mind, well, we've got an outpost coming up in the wood line. Interesting decision from Ivan. I think from the perspective of Ivan, the most important thing is just about building up that knight number, getting that second TC down, being able to get to castle age with the Royal Institute. I think that's the main thing that you're looking for here. Because once you've got Royal Institute, it's a different ballgame. Because you're talking about royal biology, you're talking about a lot more health on your units. And because of that, it makes your fights a lot more effective. But there's the age up coming through. It is going to be the Temple of Equality in the back of the base. We are witnessing it. Faye might be going for a little bit of equality. The Japanese, of course, enjoyers of equality. And also really long work hours. It's, I was reading. I wasn't reading. I mean, I was browsing Reddit, and you know how sometimes you see you don't read the article, you just read the headline. But it was words to the effect of, "You'll be taxed if you're single in Japan now." Isn't it so funny? And they're also going to be taxing people who are married that don't have children. It's like, yeah, you know what? You know what's going to fix our problem with not having enough children? Let's tax them more. That's the reason why they're not doing it, mate. They can't afford to do it. What do you get? God. Oh, they're funny. They're funny, aren't they? Oh, so silly. So silly. Oh gosh. Anyway, where were we? That's right. Equality. That's what we were talking about. Speaking of equality, Bill number 1 is going to be going down over on this side. Nice little pop out the other side. Nothing too crazy going on for the moment. Emplacement on the way through. No, it's fortification arrow, so it's going to be following it up. And now you can see, indeed, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about the fact you don't have to play into a battering ram style. You can go for a contain. And that's definitely viable here. If we think about gold and where the gold currently is positioned, it's all towards the north of the map. So as long as you can be on this sort of aspect here, looking to block out these gold veins, where does your opponent go? Like, you come down here onto this gold vein? Like, good luck, buddy. Good luck. All right, well, for the moment, more outposts coming up. Second outpost now. I think at this point, like, definitely you could justify going into a battering ram, but the trouble that you're going to have is your opponent's now castle age, and there is going to be mounted samurai coming out any second. I can guarantee you, right? Like, you're playing against the Japanese. This is a matter of fact. It's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of question. It's a matter of fact. There's going to be mounted samurai coming out, and we can see on the UI right now, indeed, there are mounted samurai on the way. And essentially, all that needs to happen in this situation is Faye just needs to reach critical mass enough to beat the Royal Knights. And once the Royal Knights are dead, then the archers are going to die. It's not even a question. So it's a bit of a tough spot from Ivan's perspective. With all these archers out, archers are great if you're up against spears. Not a whole lot of spears out at the moment, though. And because of that, it's just kind of a waste of a unit, right? If we look at the numbers here, you've got a unit that's got 6 range damage, and it's up against a unit with 4 ranged armor. So you're only really getting 33% of your damage through to the enemy. On top of that, +1 is going to be coming through on the side of Faye right now, which means that less than 16% is going to be coming through. But we do see now Ivan going for that decision. Okay, we're going to go for battering rams. We're going to pressure the gold. Definitely a smart call here. My fear is that it might be a little bit too late. There's not going to be enough spears with this as well. I'd love to see a racks thrown down. If we're really going to get into the weeds here in the feudal age, I think going for the racks makes a lot of sense, especially against the Japanese. There's always the risk that they go into like a combo, like on a Bageisha together with the mounted samurai. But I think that's something that you really have to play by ear. You can't be investing this much into it this early on. But we do see mounted samurai micro coming through from Faye, looking decent so far. At the same time, though, the knight number is going to be superior compared to the mounted samurai. So Vils sort of stuck out for the moment. Faye might have to think about jumping ship, potentially moving out to another land, another area. Now, I will just note the difference in color between these two. Not very significant, but I can't really do much about it. That's the reality. I'm almost tempted to, like, cast games where people are playing... Oh, Vils. Oh, you hate to see it. Cast games where people aren't playing similar colors. Just because I know all those folks out there that are going to have difficulty, just like me, seeing the difference between these, right? Purple, pink. They should be locked out. They shouldn't be allowed to pick such close colors. Do we really want to be like that, though? Nah, we don't want to be. That's a communist thing. We don't want to stop people from playing the colors they want to play. Sorry, I should leave the politics out of it. Anyway, no color restrictions. More Vils going down. Faye's lost 9 Vils now. Now, keep in mind, she's got that second TC, right? So she's lost 9 Vils. It's going to slow her down, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna. It's going to hurt her, but it's not going to break her, right? She's still got that win condition. She's still got that hope alive. Horseman now going to be coming out as well. Keep in mind, the Bannerman is still here. How are we doing on upgrades? +1's come through. Have we got +2 on the melee? Doesn't look like it just yet. Hopefully, we get it through shortly. But now the gold vein has been completely blocked in. Blocked out, prevented. It has been completely isolated. There's no way that Faye's going to be gathering gold at the moment other than the passive ways that she can gather gold. I'd almost be tempted if I was Faye right now to drop a market down and just sell a couple of resources just so you could maybe continue the production of the Buddhist monk. Because the whole idea here is that you want to... It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme, basically. When you get enough Buddhist monks, then you can just have infinite Buddhist monks, and the Buddhist monks of today live to pay off the Buddhist monks of tomorrow. You could call it a Ponzi scheme. You could just call it... I mean, it's kind of life, in a way, isn't it? Isn't life just a big Ponzi scheme? Like, when you think about it, right? I don't want to get too deep with you guys right now, but when you think about it, Like, the policy of today is written on the basis that the children of tomorrow are going to be able to support us, right? And if we think about it from that perspective, oh, wait, we're getting kind of deep right now, aren't we? Anyway, back to Age of Empires. we've gone deep right now. I feel like it's been an episode of Kasim G or something. We have gone, yeah, we're getting good here, getting good. Second relic now coming back for Faye, thrown inside. There's a third relic out here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is or where she's managed to bring it in. Did she throw it in? Not just yet. Wait. There was oh, it was right here? No, it wasn't here. Was it this? No, it wasn't this one. Could have been this one. Probably not that one. There was one of these relics that was moving. I saw a 2 and 1. Maybe it was a UI bug. Numbers starting to look a little bit better now for Ivan. Up double the amount of Faye. So we see that 2 to 1 outnumbering happening right now. But keep in mind, Faye's army is mounted samurai together with horsemen. Horsemen not going to be too effective here. The veterancy upgrade is yet to come through. That's a big factor, especially when you got this many horsemen. But keep in mind, not a whole lot of gold, right? All that gold is just getting invested into your Buddhist monks here. More stables on the backside, and you could see that this was definitely a smart choice by Ivan to look to try and isolate out that gold. Of course, Faye could potentially look to come down towards the south. There's not a whole lot of vision down here, but obviously she doesn't know it. We've got that god vision. She does not. But now moving around the backside, this is where you've got to be so careful because reinforcements can easily get picked off by all this cavalry. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier on. Battering ram's going to be built at the back here. Faye going to be looking for it. You can see there's plenty of units on the way through. Another 5 infantry making their way over towards the army, looking to reinforce. We're right on board with Faye as she faces the fire of Ivan. Battering ram rolling its way down to the second TC. At this point, she's up 16 vils, which is a decent amount. She's lost 10 as well, so she should be up about 26 vils, but still not a bad amount. Plenty of vils down towards the south, and I can feel she's starting to worry a bit here. She's thinking to herself, where am I gonna take all these vils? I've got so many villages, but not a lot of resources to be gathering right now. This is awkward. It's difficult. I don't have a lot of space to move. Let's switch it over to income per minute, get an idea on where these two currently sit against each other. Ivan with a big lead on that population, but keep in mind a lot of that's going to be infantry. So we're going to write it off. It's an archer. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. You might as well delete it at this point in the game. 4 ranged armor. How are we doing on attack, by the way? Still no +2 on the attack, but of course that's going to be largely because of the gold problem. And you can see Faye is slowly investing in more Buddhist monks, up to 8 now with 2 in the queue. So not doing too bad on that unit counter. But the numbers continue to build. By the way, look at the minimap. Look at the amount of units that are just streaming in right now into the base of Faye. And towards the front, now those reinforcements that we were talking about earlier potentially picked off. Vils on the stone outcropping. Big army making its way back towards the top side of the town center. Going to be able to pick up the racks. Town center's gone down over on that east flank. And now that big army. Do we switch it over? How do I switch it over? I'm looking for my buttons. No, that's not it. Is that it? No, that's not it. That one? That one. There we go. All right, we're just going to switch it. We'll switch it. We'll leave it. Relics. Wallalo. Give it to her, Faye. Give it to him. Oh, it's big. Oh, it's huge. Oh, it's going to be massive. Oh, it's double. Oh, big archer swing right there, right, for Faye. Massive on the defense. She's going to take, how many did she get? Only 5 by the looks of it. Maybe a spearman or 2 in there. More relics. You can hear them getting picked up, dropped off, all that good stuff. Beautiful micro. And another one. Another Wallalo under the town center. That's double. How could you afford that many Wallalos? Is she bugging them out or something? Is there a Wallalo bug that I don't know about? She's just spamming them. Look, she puts them down. Is she picking them back up? They gotta be bugged. Oh, and she's getting the bonus damage from them as well. Oh, no way. No, oh, they've got different timers? What's going on here? How are these conversions happening right now? Look at the defense. I'm too busy talking about the conversions. I don't even realize that Ivan's just getting ripped apart. But, dude, where are these Wallalos coming from? What's going on with these Wallalos? Okay. Is there a bug that I don't know about that Faye's exploiting right now? I'm going to be honest, I think there might be. You've got 2 relics and you just had 27 Wallalos, Faye. We gotta... Hey, Faye, Faye, we gotta talk about this. I mean, to be fair, Okay, hear me out. What if they made it so that the Wololo didn't go on cooldown unless you captured a unit? There you go. No, don't do it, don't do it. All right, we're switching back colors. I think it was this color, this one? Yeah, this one. Sorry, because now we can do line of sight. We couldn't do line of sight before, but now we can do line of sight. Okay, what was going on there? You got to leave a comment for me. Were we just witnessing an exploit in real time? I don't know how it's done. So if it is an exploit, please don't explain how to do it. Just say that it was an exploit, okay? And then let everybody else Google or ask ChatGPT. Dude, I don't know about you guys. I've been asking ChatGPT for everything. It's kind of wild. Oh, speaking of AI, can we talk about VO? Have you guys seen VO? Oh my lord, VO 3? Oh, okay, that, like, at this point, we're cooked. Like, that's it. It's literally it, man. It's over. It is literally over. If you haven't seen VO 3, you're not allowed to comment. Go search for it. If you really want to do it, search for the VO 3 poop on Reddit. Far out, that was funny. It was 9 minutes of a guy literally just spending his like $250 of credits on AI generated. So stupid. Anyway, let's get back into it. All right, how's Faye doing? So she lost a fair amount of vills there. We did see that it effectively lost about 13 vills in that last little attack. But the big thing is she somehow managed to retain all of that army. And there was a lot going on there. I would really like to go back and analyze that fight. And this is kind of where I wish we could just kind of scrub back the replay and be like, hold on, what actually happened there? Because that was ridiculous. Now, she converted a couple units, but she didn't convert anything that impactful. There was a couple of archers that went, a spearman I saw as well. But that was only in one Wololo, and there were like 5 Wololos there despite only 2 relics. So, anyway, we need to talk about that. Ivan, on the west side of the map, has gone with the guild hall. 300 food in the bank at the moment. Single TC. No double just yet. Really went to... Oh, I like this. Faye's using the archers that she captured against her opponent to raid the villagers in the north. Very, very cheeky. Very smart. And last relic up towards the top side. Potentially going to be snagged away now by Ivan. So it'll be a 1-4 split. Let's check in with Faye, though, and see how she's doing. Because keep in mind, she is playing with that Temple of Equality. At the moment, she's only got the 11 Buddhist monks out. So not really playing too much into that whole idea of I'm going to spam more Buddhist monks so I can spam more Buddhist monks. It's fun, but it's pretty gold heavy. Let's just put it that way. Another TC, third TC, Faye. She does like to play a lot of TCs, doesn't she? You know, I remember, what was the game that we watched with her? The one where she was playing Knights Templar and she just had like 3 TCs from 7 minutes into the game. She does like to boom. She's a bit of a boomer, we'll say that much. Despite, you know, probably no white monster can in her hand. Probably not riding on the lawnmower. I've got a friend, he literally looks like the guy in the meme. Riding the lawnmower. He's got a ride-on lawnmower too, the guy. He's got a lot of land. It is good to have land. Let's check in on the side of Ivan, see how he's doing. Towards that south side. Just a little bit of a raid. Nice little pincer movement here. Ivan finding a bit of a recovery in the mid-game. Now keep in mind, there is room here, if Faye wanted to go Imperial Age. Because keep in mind, once she gets Imperial Age, she's going to have access to some big hitting units. Especially against spears like this. We could look at things like the Taganashima Gunsmith into a Reboldiquin or 2. Definitely going to be difficult to deal with if you've just got a whole bunch of spears. Of course, the Arbiter will do a decent job in dealing with them, but it's definitely an option for her. Not a whole lot of gold in the bank just yet, though. Looks like this is going to get cleaned up. So where do we go from here? If we're thinking from the perspective of Ivan, how do we win here? I can't help but feel like just putting down a second TC. I don't know, man. Is there something wrong with me where all I think about is like all day I dream about TCs? Just make more TCs. Is that cliche? I feel like that's cliche. Nice little cleanup once again. Because like realistically, what can Ivan do in this position? If you push here with all these spears, I mean, look what Faye's doing, by the way. She's making Springles. She's making a lot of Springles. 5 Springles. And keep in mind, the Springles very effectively counter Spearmen. We don't see this enough. You know, I'm almost tempted to say this is the #1 thing that we don't see enough of, because the Spearman has become very much a de facto spam unit, right? Like, you just spam the spearmen, especially we see this more often with, like, the House of Lancaster once they're in Imperial Age. But one of the units that we don't really think about that counters them is the Springle. So I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say, I think that this is something that needs to be not even explored. It needs to be something utilized more often. Fifth relic was going to be going the way of Ivan. Was secured in his monastery. Not anymore. Not anymore. Stolen away. The wolf's going to try and stop it, but potentially not today. Once again, Spear's getting very good engagements here. Faye not paying attention. Faye's going to lose it all. Faye's going to lose it all. That is a big mistake. That's a massive loss. I mean, she's all over the place right now. She's got a pretty big economy. Actually, can we just do a little bit of a stock take here on economies for a second? So Faye currently sits at 2.1. Call it 3.5, 5k, 5.4k on resource count. Meanwhile, her opponent currently... Oh, I'm not going to count that. Oh, yeah. Not a good time to be a French fan. Not a good time to be a French fan. That is for sure. Reminding me a little bit too much of the World Cup. No, wait, you guys won that, didn't you? It was the French that beat the Brazilians, wasn't it? 7-1, 6-1? There's gonna be like 3 Brazilian fans in the chat, like, where. Not really, they wouldn't be laughing. They're gonna be putting some me gusta in there. Sorry, I don't know any Portuguese. That's what you guys speak, I think. If I remember correctly, it's Portuguese. Springle number building up, though. Up to a total of 9 Springles with 1 more in the queue. 198 population against 125. Wow. You know, I think this was obviously the most pivotal fight. We saw a huge difference in population at the beginning of the fight. And yet, by the end of it, Faye somehow managed to walk away with an absolutely absurd advantage. So now the question will be, how can she leverage this economic advantage she's got into a military advantage? And is this going to be substantial? I mean, this looks pretty scary, right? Like, we're talking 21 Temple of Equality Buddhist priests. Nice little... Oh, she's doing the wall strategy. She's building the box. The box. So the idea is she's going to come up, obviously wall this off, puts the gate in, and the Springlets can go through and they'll never get caught. I think that's the general idea. Ideally, I'd love to see a couple more gates and then more walls come up. Outpost on the front. Continuing to push up. Do we just make sure that we don't take off the colors now? So we've got blue, Ivan, red, Faye. Because I can feel Faye is pushing with intent right now. When you've got these vills coming forward, it very much says, I don't need to age up, I'm going to kill you right now. Faye marching forward, a lot of relics in hand. She's got 2 of them in the back. Watch out for that Nihon conversion. Watch out for that Buddhist conversion. Here it comes. Bonus damage on the way. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in there. Springle's firing off. She's trying to get angles from everywhere. Second wall alone now coming in off the backside. Moving up with all the healers. Springle's still firing off, just working down this army. There's another one. She only brought 3 relics or 2 relics, and now we're seeing it. It's gotta be. We're now putting it out there. It's happening. How is it happening? Because look, it says 120 seconds, but it's not 120 seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. You know, Faye, I like where you're going with this, but I'm a little bit worried about how you're dropping those relics and picking them back up anyway. We're going to leave it there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. Impressive performance by Faye, and I think we would have seen a GG at the end of the day, even if it wasn't for the little relic swapping that was going on right there.